Hello everyone! Quick review of the new film, DC's, aka Andy Muschietti's, aka Ezra Millers, The Flash. This is the brand new film, as I mentioned, directed by Andy Muschietti. It's been in the works for like fucking 4 years. They have been trying to get this shit done, I feel, forever. At a point I thought, this is probably never coming out, but here we finally are. Like, we're actually here. There's actually a Flash movie. And you could see it, wide release, in 3 days. I got to go to this Monday early screening. I know there's been plenty, dude. They've had so many fucking screenings of this. They had one on like May 29th in Dallas. They had one June 3rd, June 6th, June 7th today, and apparently there's going to be another one tomorrow in Dallas. So there's been a shitload. They've been showing this movie a lot, and they want to get word of mouth, I think, as much as they can. They want to get a shitload of it out, because I think they really want people to just know what kind of film they've put together. I think they just want good buzz, and I could tell from the audience here, and based on all my friends' opinions who saw it earlier, and they've talked about their screenings and the rave reviews you've heard. Stephen King praised it, Tom Cruise praised it, like, you've had multiple people. James Gunn say it's like arguably one of the best superhero films ever made. So you've had all this praise. Is it one of the best superhero films ever made? No. And before everyone goes like, you hate DC, why do you hate DC? First of all, I don't at all. I actually thought this movie was pretty fucking good, which is shocking, because I went into it with the trailers in mind going, this looks fucking terrible. This looks like it's the complete opposite of a movie I would like. And there are elements that are a little cringy. First of all, I should say, when I saw No Way Home the first time, I kind of loved it. I was in just such a happy vibe. But the more I think about it, the more I watch that film, the more I start to dislike No Way Home and pick up on all the things that I just go, ooh, this shit does not work at all. The Flash is probably better than No Way Home. As an arguable thing here, I think that there's not as much cringy cameo dialogue as you hope. But let's get nuts line to me. If Michael Keaton doesn't 100% work. But Michael Keaton himself does work. They use him in a different way than I thought they would. He's in it a bit more than I thought. I knew it wouldn't be a cameo, but I didn't know how much it would be. It's still a little bit more than I thought. And he does a good job, and they have emotional relevance here throughout the whole film. What I will say is it takes a bit to get going. You have a great, like, 25 first minutes with, like, a 15-minute action sequence, then, like, 10 minutes of setup. Then once you go through that setup and some of the emotional drama in the setup, we get, like, the best hour of a DC film I've seen in a while. The interactions between Barry and 18-year-old Barry, like our Barry from the universe we've seen through Zack Snyder's films and stuff like that, with Ben Affleck on the planet. I like that Barry quite a bit. And then we get 18-year-old Barry when he goes back in time, and there's kind of like this glitch in the dimension. Their interactions are great and so funny. The action and the heist stuff between them when they have to like do things, when they meet Michael Keaton, the first scene with him, and they go to Russia, you see footage of it in the trailer. It's not like I'm spoiling it, this is in the trailer. All that shit is just so well thought out, put together. The action in that period of time I thought was better than it was near the very beginning and end. There's a lot of CGI, I will say, like 40% of the CGI looks pretty bad, but 60% of it looks really good. So I was like trying to line up, like, it's like weird that they couldn't like 100% perfect it. Maybe if we gave them a few more months they could, or would they have even tried, or is this just genuinely what they thought looked great? Because to me, a lot of the time when it felt CGI, it would take me out of it a few times, but sometimes it was great. The comedy is surprisingly good, which I was shocked, because like Ezra Miller's Flash as a character in a few of the other films just doesn't fit the tone. He's fine as a side character. He doesn't annoy me a ton, but he does annoy me a little. I thought here, like, he can get obnoxious, but it's mostly the 18-year-old Barry. And when you have this more standard, used to being in the role of the Flash Barry, the interactions become a little bit more calm, because we actually have a character who's like, holy shit, please shut the fuck up. I get why people get annoyed by me now, but you're somehow worse. So that element really works. The characters and dialogue between them is also really sharp a lot of the time. I think a lot of, and by characters I want to talk about just like our main two Barrys, and I mean our main two Barrys, because like, not to be unfair, Michael Keaton it's more than a cameo, and so is the character of Supergirl, Sasha, or Kara, yeah, I got the name right, fuck off. They are pretty average, and their dialogue is usually the worst dialogue. Honestly, the dialogue in the movie that works the most for me is always between Ezra Miller, and even though he's had controversy, and a lot of awful things, and I don't think he should technically be in the role anymore. It sucks to say he's really fucking good. Like, he's really good in this movie. And like, I really don't want to be saying that because I want to be like, ugh, I wish he would suck so we could replace him and just easier. But it's like, it sucks that it seems like they're going to keep him in the role, but I don't like him as a person, so I don't want him in the role. But he's so good. I just realized fuck, I'm going to get canceled, aren't I? Wait, can I get canceled for fucking up on Ezra Miller? Ezra Miller's an awful person. He as in Barry he. Let's say that's what I was talking about. Not they as in Ezra Miller. I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk fast because I'm driving home, so I'm not really focused on the shit I'm saying. But Ezra Miller is great. Like, I said he again. Fuck! Sorry, pronouns are really hard, guys. Especially when I'm just not off the top of my head thinking of it. I correct myself, though. They're especially great in the scenes together when there are multiple Barrys. And there is a great emotional scene near the very end where I was like, oh, they fucking killed this. Like, they crushed this goddamn scene. Like, it had me in tears at the ending. I cannot lie. Some of the story arcs feel a bit rushed. Like, we kind of just jump into the multiverse stuff. Once we're in it, you're like, okay, how can they resolve the stuff back at home and the stuff here? And they kind of don't. It is like, oh, they resolved some things, but they left stuff open. So, in a way, you're going like, oh, this answers questions to what James Gunn's universe and what the new timeline could be. But at the same time, it kind of leaves everything open. In a way, it kind of like, it doesn't answer anything, but simultaneously answers like, all right, here's where we may be going, but we also don't know 100% what that's going to do once it's done. So it's this very weird middle that I can't really describe where we're at. Even in a spoiler review, I wouldn't know how to explain the things that they necessarily do, because it does feel a little uneven in some ways. What I will say is the main story alone, the core message, the emotional moments, the point of Barry trying to go back to save his mother and possibly help his father get out for not being blamed for the murder of his mother. That stuff is really good. The stuff between the two Barrys is really good. Ezra Miller's performance is really good. Some of the comedy, like I'd say 70% of the jokes are really good. There are 30% that made me cringe, and I was like, you could have written that out. A little too much comedy here and there. But a lot of it does hit. And the action scenes in the middle act, when it's more simple action or just like little fun moments, are good. They have this one moment where they're both doing the run, and there's like the blue lightning flash and the yellow light flash. You see a bit of it in the trailer. That bit was also cool. But as an overall film, I just think it's not amazing. This is not... I had two friends tell me... One told me they think it's better than Spider-Verse and Guardians, and one just told me it's close to Spider-Verse, but better than Guardians. 100% just being honest, this is not better than either of those. In a far way, in my opinion. This is a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun, and I would watch it again. But Guardians and Spider-Verse to me are perfect movies. They are fucking stunning. The new technology they pull off, the creative practical effects, the emotion in both of those hits even harder here. And there is a level of creativity and compassion and artistry that we just haven't seen before. This is just a good comic book movie with quite a few problems. Those films to me are, on every watch I've seen them, are nearly perfect. I am going to see this again. Maybe it'll hit better once I know what to expect again this time. Or honestly, maybe it won't be as good on a rewatch. I don't really 100% know. You never really know films. But I am seeing it again on Thursday with another friend who was on the same level as me. He doesn't want to see this movie at all. I wanted to see it. I was going to see it no matter what. The trailers have really not hit for me. And, well, the film did. It worked on quite a few levels that I wasn't expecting. If you want to see some cool Michael Keaton action, you get that. If those moments you were cool in the trailer where he says, like, let's get nuts, hey, they have them in here. Although those moments didn't work, I thought the character still worked. And I thought Michael Keaton was having fun. And his action scenes in the movie were actually pretty good. But if there is a reason to watch this, in all honesty, it is the emotional, nearly final scenes of the movie, the humor and the camaraderie between the two Barrys, and just Ezra Miller's performance in general. And some of the action there, here and there, is pretty fun. And it's a well-flowed story. It was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it feels a little bit like 2 hours and 20 minutes. There's a lot going on. By the time it ends, though, the ending doesn't feel hugely climactic in a way, other than they throw in a few cameos that you guys will see, and I'm sure people will lose their shit online. I didn't think the cameos were that cool. They were kind of cringy. But there's a lot of fun to be had in this movie, and I still think overall, you should go see it. It is actually worth seeing in theaters. Even though I don't think it's amazing, I thought it was a pretty good time. And I think it overall is a good comic book movie that upon sitting with it more, I might like more. It's definitely, for me, besides The Suicide Squad by James Gunn, and probably the first Shazam, this is probably my next favorite DCU film. So, like, it's saying quite a bit that I enjoyed it more than I expected. Even with my complaints, I can't put it below a 7. I would say it's like a 7.5 out of 10, even with the issues. It's just a really fun, really good time, even with the complaints I have. And look, it's not a perfect film. It's not the best comic film of all time. Maybe some people will feel that way. I just can clearly see past like a lot of the issues. To me, it just is a little hard to be saying that after one viewing. But it's a fun time, and like, it has a 70% Rotten Tomatoes right now. The word of mouth is going to be fun and have a little bit of buzz. Hopefully it makes its money back. But if it didn't, maybe we wouldn't have to see Ezra Miller again. And even though he was good in the film, I don't know if I want to see him again. But I kind of do, but I kind of don't. Ooh, it's conflicting. I'm home anyway. So yeah, that's the end of my non-spoiler review. I will have to talk spoilers because there is some shit in here to talk about. But I just, honestly, I can't do it right now. One, I'm at home. I'm going to go to bed. It's like 1:30 a.m. But there is stuff to talk about, and trust in that. But overall, for me, it's a 7.5 out of 10. Good movie. Not amazing, not even great, but it is really, it's darn good. It's darn good, and you'll probably have a fun time. I would recommend seeing it, and thanks for my friend Noah for coming. We agreed. It's probably both a 7.5 out of 10. We both stand in the same area. And maybe I'll do a spoiler review for it this weekend with another friend. So that's it, and bye-bye.